kicking us off is John McWilliams. His 100... John McGuinness. Sorry, I'm getting myself also excited here. McGuinness, 109th TT start, 47 podiums, 23 wins. He was in the 131s earlier this week, and he's away down Glen Country Road. And we'll drop down Grey Hill. Is there an outside chance of podium here for John? Next up, unlucky yesterday was Jamie Cowan, his 49th start coming up, 2 podiums, but still on the hunt for big fight glory as Dino now heads off. His 60th start, 27 podiums for Dean Harrison after his result yesterday in Supersport. Not had a Superbike win, the 2019 senior winner. Let's see how he fares today as Ian Hutchinson sets off for the first time in a couple of years on his Superbike. Next up is Jimbo Hillier on the WGF Honda, looking for his first big bike win. And now it's Michael Dunlop looking for win number 27 to stand alone as the TT all-timer. Can he beat Joey's record after Supersport glory here yesterday as they head off? So much excitement, James, as they head now down Grey Hill.
Yeah, that's the top of Grey Hill, that's St Ninian's Crossroads. You cannot believe how nervous you are before this race. And this is the man we've been looking at all week. What a week David Todd's had.
David Todd on the Milwaukee BMW was the fastest in qualifying. He now sets off. He was so good in Supersport yesterday, he ran it close. But the fastest man around the island now sets off in Superbikes. It's Peter Hickman on the Monster Energy FHO Racing BMW. There's so many questions coming into this one, James. He looked a little bit off it yesterday in Supersport. It's all eyes on him now in Superbike.
Peter Hickman's been on the back foot most of the year in BSB and at the Northwest. He's had little niggling injuries, but never ever Peter Hickman off around the TT course.
You almost sometimes wonder whether he likes having his back against the wall. The story's there. He knows Davey and Michael want it.
I think he does.
This is the time to shine. Dave Johnson, Davo is off on his Platinum Club Kawasaki.
One of the other riders, Michael Rutter, but he doesn't age. Just still loves riding around this place.
You know, this track seems faster than ever before with all of the new paved parts. You know, and these guys, there's enough guys here to start pushing each other to the records, to be fair.
Yeah, this place is in prime condition. They've done a little bit of remedial work to some of the bumpier parts of the track, but where the conditions are perfect, the track's just rubbing in a little bit. This is the Crosby section, really, really fast first part of the circuit.
And remember, there's 6 laps. This is grueling, James. In total, they head around 226 miles they've got to do.
It's grueling physically on these big bikes, but it's grueling mentally as well. You know you can't make a mistake. You've got to be accurate.
We heard it from the guys down in the studio as well. It's not just about that. It's about 2 pit stops as well, with a wheel-changing clip.
Oh, James Hillier getting it all wrong at the Crosby jump. It's easier to do. You've got to be on the right-hand side of the road, off the crown. If you're in the middle, you get a lot more air.
This is Josh Brooks now, the Australian, number 7 on the Monster Energy FHO Racing BMW. How does he feature? Nice. Nice over Crosby there for Brooks. There is Davey Todd, number 8. Let's see how Davey gets on. He's nailed this so far this week, and that was fine.
Yeah, that was good enough.
We will, of course, get our first time sectors at Glen Helen. This will give us our first indication as to who has set off in the best shape from the grandstand here in Douglas on Glen Country Road. Here's Hickman. How's he going to get on over the jump?
Spot on, pre-jump till lifting his backside off the seat. That means the bike doesn't come up as much. Absolutely perfect from Peter, that.
He looked a little bit out of sorts earlier in the week. This is
it. He took a lot of air. The back wheel started overtaking the front when it landed. That would have felt big to him and scary.
You remember Gary with Mr. Hillier a couple of years ago?
Yeah, exactly the same.
Just trying to outdo that.
Yeah. We're just heading up there to Ballycrane.
Yeah, turn right into the trees. Now around Ballyspur. This is the Glen Helen section. It's one corner, then another. Left, right, left, all the way through. Long back, blacked up. This is the first part of Glen Helen.
Here we are, McGuinness, number 1 on the Honda. He's been in the best shape that we've seen him.
Looking good.
Since 2016 on the Honda. and it's a 4:21.9. He's beaten immediately by Coward, but only by 7/10 of a second. Dean Harrison, though, flies. A 4:16 from a standing start for Dean. He's 5.8 seconds clear of Jamie Coward and John McGuinness, as we now wait on the road for Ian Hutchinson and James Hillier. It's a bit of a wait for them as well. It's there. That's Hillier. Where's Hutchie's not come through, so there we see. Well, there he was.
I think
he's ahead of him on the road.
I think so.
Hillier, where does he slot? Second, 2.9 seconds off Dean Harrison. The early leader at Glen Helen then is Dean Harrison. In fact, he's ahead of Michael Dunlop. Dunlop, 1.4 down on Dean Harrison through sector 1.
Yeah, but he traditionally sets up a bit steady and gets stronger and stronger as the race goes on.
Josh Brooks has slotted himself up into third, 1.4 down on Michael Dunlop. You're sixth through at Glen Helen then. In fact, Davey Todd is taking the lead on the Milwaukee BMW. He's been in fine fettle all week. And Davey Todd 7/10 clear of Dean Harrison up to Glen Helen.
We expected David to be quick out the blocks, really confident, spoke to him this morning, really laid back actually, just says, look, I haven't really pushed so far this week.
There's a bit of a gap, of course, no Craig Neve. So Peter Hickman is up next, and he's got 20 seconds of clear road up ahead of him. He slots into second, 300ths of a second difference between Davey Todd and Peter Hickman.
Nothing in it.
6/10 covering Todd, Hickman and Harrison. 1.4 covering the top four there. That's brilliant stuff. Unbelievable. Josh Brooks then in fifth, Hillier sixth, then it's Cummins, who was seventh ahead of Jamie Coward and John McGuinness. Davo Johnson now coming through, goes to 10th, 2.2 down on McGuinness's best time through there.
Dave will love him riding the Kawasaki, said the team's very professional, he's getting quicker all week.
So the leader from the grandstand to Glen Helen is Davey Todd in pursuit of his first ever TT win.
Right, John McGuinness blasts through Kurt Michael, yellow lines to yellow lines to yellow lines, from one side of the road to the next, quite bumpy through there as well, and you get a feeling of speed like nowhere else in the world here.
This is McGuinness right now. Behind him on the road there we just saw Jamie Coward being hunted down by Dean Harrison. Remember what happened yesterday in the Super Sport? Dean got through on Coward, but Coward kept the hooks in.
Yeah, he's going to have the same problem though.
So just 300ths of a second separating the top two. There is James Hillier now heading through Kurt Michael.
You know, Davey Todd's going to have to go through Josh Brooks if he can catch him, and that's not going to be an easy thing, but Dean Harrison's not going to have to go through Hutchie kind of a thing.
Now, Dean Harrison has got Jamie Coward has a little bit of a problem. It was in the Super Sport race. I do feel that Dean Harrison will probably have a machine advantage over Jamie Coward that he didn't have in the Super Sport race.
As Davey Todd then flies through Kurt Michael. Brilliant. Absolutely flat chat, curb to curb.
And it is flat chat. That's 175 miles an hour through there. And it's just a little village with
Past the post office.
Yeah.
Davey Todd has just looked so good on this bike this year.
Yeah, this is a Red Colin section. Big jump as you exit the village.
They're up to Balaf. Dean Harrison then is through. He's 10 seconds up on Coward. He's right with him. This is Peter Hickman coming through Kurt Michael. Harrison, Coward, McGuinness, your top three from Glen Helen to Balaf. We now wait for James Hillier. He goes through second. 1.2 down on Dean Harrison. Not bad from Hillier.
A little bit further down in the field, you see Sean Anderson, number 18, is actually doing really well to be in front of David Johnson and Phil Crow, and he's just nipping at the heels of Connor Cummins.
Michael Dunlop has just come to Balaf. He's 1.2 down on Dean Harrison.
We hear that Brooks, Josh Brooks has retired at Handley's. That's yeah, just after the third 11 miles go.
Left 1 of 6 on the Superbikes as well. What a shame for the Australian. Davey Todd leads to Balaf once more, but it's close. It's tight. He's only, just under 2/10 up on Dean Harrison. We now wait for Peter Hickman to come through to Balaf as we see there Harrison on the road ahead of Coward.
Yep, this the Summer Bridge section, then Ginger Hall.
Michael Evans starting 24th is already up into 12th at Glen Helen. That's a great push from him.
Yeah, he's been brilliant all week. Michael Evans has been improving his laps.
Don Purvis has been brilliant all week, but he is out at the Highlander, so really early on.
Oh, what a shame for both them, Brooks and Dom Herbertson.
Oh no.
This is
There's always an attrition rate here, always in with the big bikes.
Michael Dunlop then. He's closing on James Hillier.
Yeah, you know if you're kicking dust up, you're using all the road.
The Sulby speed trap. Michael Dunlop fastest, 200.6 miles per hour. Ahead of Davey Todd, 199.1. And then Harrison, 194.8. Davey Todd is your leader from Dean Harrison and Michael Dunlop. Not a lot to split them. Peter Hickman, guys, went through 2.8 down on Dunlop. Now, the big questions coming into this one. We knew there were issues yesterday for this man on screen, Peter Hickman, but we thought if it doesn't work out today at Superbike, then we know there's something up.
Yeah, correct, because we figured that the issue may be with that Triumph 765 triple.
And back to James Hines, starting 29th. He's already up into 12th. Eklund Helen now in front of Evans.
Yeah, he'd been moved forward anyway in the stand-up, was so brilliant for him. He's had a cracking week.
This is the helicam there of Hillier with Michael Dunlop all behind him, trying to fish a way through now on Hillier, and he's going to make his way. That's nice and clean. Good stuff there from Dunlop then, who currently sits third in this one. As James mentioned, though, so often you see him just slowly working his way up into the race. It's normally from Balaf to Ramsey where he makes his time up.
Yeah, Wheatley, the shot we just saw there is called Silly Moves. It's named after a campsite that's there. That's the catering section. This is all the fast, bumpy run into Ramsey.
So Ramsey, Dean Harrison leads ahead of Jamie Coward, as we might be aware. Of course, he's already ahead of him on the road, 13.3. This time, Coward not looking like he's able to get the hooks in like he was in the Super Sport bike. There is Peter Hickman. We're going to get the others through now to Ramsey as well and see whether or not the likes of Dunlop and Co can challenge Dean.
Cruikshank's right-hander, and then Mayhill, and then a left-hander called Whitegate, sending up towards Stella Maris, and the hairpin is just after this next right-hander here.
There is Dunlop then, and he's 0.8 of a second down on your leader, Dean Harrison, from Balaf to Ramsey. James Hillier will be keen to try and keep Michael Dunlop with him as much as possible here.
This is going to be good for James Hillier.
Yeah, if his bike's working, he's got the ability to stay there for a bit.
That was fast from Davey Todd from Balaf to Ramsey. He's 1.1 up on Dean Harrison. Around the Ramsey hairpin then for Davey.
Clean, short circuit stuff, beautiful from David Todd, that.
Yeah, Hunchy's looking good too. He looks healthy and fast.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Here is Peter Hickman, he comes through.
Straight on.
1.5 down on Michael Dunlop at this stage. Remember, Peter Hickman tends to do his work once we get onto the mountain.
Yeah.
That's where we'll see maybe him close that gap down.
Mountain sections so much more open. You can pretty much see where you're going for the majority of it. A lot of the short circuit riders prefer the mountain.
Yeah, the race being so long, you're going to see it really find its legs later on. It doesn't have to be in the first lap, you know.
Yeah, also you can, not only can you see where you're going, but you can take a bit of a breather. It tends to be a bit cooler up there. You climb up to the best part of 350 feet at the highest point of the course.
We knew coming into today, guys, that it was about 4 riders potentially fighting for the win. The likes of Dunlop, Hickman, Harrison and Todd. And they are the 4 names out the top.
Yeah.
Here's Davo Johnson around Ramsey hairpin. Davo slots into 9th place from Balaf to Ramsey at the moment. It's so close as these guys now head up towards the mountain and the bungalow. Here's Mike Brown on the Aprilia RSV 4, looking to join the 130 club here today. Dean Harrison will be the first to the bungalow as Michael Rutter now heads up towards Stella Maris and Ramsey.
That's clean, as you'd expect from Michael. Done plenty of laps round here.
He's 10th from Balaf to Ramsey.
That's brilliant.
Rob Hodson just in behind him, but this is the first time Rob Hodson's been out on his superbike since the crash around there.
Hickman's the quickest from Balaf to Ramsey, just 0.3 seconds off the best ever.
Yeah, this is going to be key now, isn't it? This is where we're going to really start to see who's going to close up, whether Hickman can cut that gap down.
Yeah, they're just warming up too. You know, they're just starting to get their brain up to speed and get those the blood flowing through the muscles. This is really early days.
Lovely shot of early shot there of David Todd just tucked in the bubble, and that's the best part of 200 miles an hour.
2 names on screen at the bungalow. John McGuinness is being caught here by Dean Harrison.
Yeah, he'd expect that, and if John knows he's there, he will lay him past.
McGuinness said in an interview on the lead up to the TT, it's Dean's job to do the winning now. I'm out here still having fun, and he's still lapping some good times as well. It won't do him any harm having Dean go through on him either.
News is, it was Josh Brooks's chain that was a problem. It came off, and that's an age-old issue with a bike.
Man, what a silly thing to happen.
It is, yeah,
but it comes up for it.
It does happen.
It does happen, it has happened as they come through to the bungalow. Michael Dunlop is just under.
Wow.
He's 1500s down on Dean Harrison. Look how close that is. Harrison and Dunlop then split by pretty much nothing. We now wait for Davey Todd and, of course, Peter Hickman. Here comes Todd, around towards the bungalow. The sector will flash up any time now. And he's fastest. 1.8 up on Dean Harrison. That was a good stretch as Dino goes through on John McGuinness on the road.
Yeah, John McGuinness knew he was there, let him through, give him a little bit of room.
Ian Hutchinson
Just good to see this man going round, actually.
out on a stock bike, but with a superbike front fairing there is Ian Hutchinson. Dean Harrison, first out on the road. We're waiting for Peter Hickman, who has made it up to the bungalow, but he's 1.9 down on Michael Dunlop. So your top four are there. They're not split by too much, but Davey Todd is your race leader. 1.8 seconds up on Dean Harrison, with Dunlop and Hickman at the moment, third and fourth on this opening lap of 6. James Hillier at the moment, fifth for Innocent 7th.
Colin Cummins flashes through the bungalow.
Yeah, he just slots up into 7th between Coward and McGuinness.
At
Dean
Ramsey,
Harrison.
oops, sorry, mate. I was just going to say at Ramsey, we got Phil Crow in 11th, Mike Brown in 12th, and Nathan Harrison in 13th. So that's going to be a battle to the end.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Young man James Hinders reporting smoking though.
Oh, no.
In the Sulby area. Yeah, so we'll be here.
What a shame. What a shame. This is the moment where Michael Dunlop tried to pick his move on James Hillier, a replay, just getting himself tucked up behind Hillier on the WTF Honda.
Yeah.
Both the same machine.
Yeah, the section before, that's K3. He's cut so called because he's got a big K painter on it to let the riders know the curb sticks out a little bit there. Bumpy section as well. Difficult section to pick your way through.
So James Hind has retired, unfortunately, then. He's
I thought-
out. What a shame for James Hind. In the meantime, at Crocknamona, Harrison is through there, ahead of Coward and McGuinness.
Yeah, this is Harrison down round Bedstead. Now the Nook and Governor's Bridge and Dip.
Oh, Michael Dunlop leads as he gets to Crocknamona. This could be all change. Let's hand down to Plater as he's going to get these guys flying by.
Here we go, we just start waiting. I can see the helicopters up above me buzzing around. We're just waiting for them to come out of the dip there. And the governors, I'm just sticking and looking. I'm desperately trying not to let them make me jump to them. I'm flipping having a look first. Here we go, here's Harrison. Look at it. And McGuinness. Oh. You see, it's not that hard, is it? Oh, man alive, who was that? Flipping heck. Right, I'm getting too old for this. Back to you guys.
We're not getting too old, but we love it.
Awesome.
It's absolutely brilliant there, then.
I'm stood exactly there, that far away, picking for some day. Well, actually, Michael Rutter. And when the bike, the fast laps come, but it's not even like it's like a sonic boom, and you can feel the bow wave.
Michael Dunlop leads over the grandstand. Half a second up on Dean Harrison, 34.118 from a standing start for Michael Dunlop. Dean Harrison himself was a 134.048, but we now wait for Davey Todd to come across the line as well. As Dunlop there is loose. Todd comes over the line and leads across after lap 1. 2.2 up on Michael Dunlop. 134.417 from a standing start is his fastest ever lap officially. And that's brilliant from Davey Todd.
Yeah. When you get a big shake over any of the jumps like we just saw Michael Dunlop, you've got to make sure you pump the lever a little bit before you get to the point where you need it next, because the pads will be knocked back a little bit.
Hickman is 4th over the line. 2.2 down on Dean Harrison. Work to do.
Yeah.
At the end of lap 1 then.
Exactly. Todd's really into control at the moment. After one lap, that's over 2 seconds is brilliant. It's actually 4 or 5 or 6 seconds over the others.
Yeah, it is in this field.
We mentioned before the TT, and we will mention it until we go blue in the face. Coming into this, 132.9 was Davey Todd's fastest ever lap around here. He had to make a step if he wanted to fight for victories, and that's a massive step.
Yeah.
134.4 from the standing start.
And we have a new best sector time from Davey Todd from the bungalow to Crocknamona. So the very fastest ever.
Fast. That is unbelievable. Brilliant stuff then from Davey Todd, who leads. It's so close though. Dean Harrison, a really good opening lap himself. Only half a second down on Michael Dunlop on the Honda. Peter Hickman then, with work to do, the two-time Superbike winner, multiple winner on the big bikes, the fastest man on the island.
All I would say is Michael Dunlop tends to ease his way and work
Very
his
true.
way into a race.
Davey Todd, though, you caught up with him in the paddock earlier on, and he said he
Relaxed.
wasn't going to be holding back.
Yeah, relaxed. He said he'd not really pushed at any point this week. Everything felt kind of okay.
Michael Dunlop then, now heading over the crossfit. Wah!
Good enough. All right, is that?
Good enough, fast enough. This is the grandstand here at the TT guys getting themselves, of course, ready next time around for the first pit stop.
Yeah, everybody uses the same fillers. It's the same gravity-fed fillers, so the fuel goes in really slowly when you sat there waiting to go.
Yes, it feels like eternity. It's like, would you please press that all the way in, please? Would you please?
Fair play to John McGuinness, by the way. 131.06 from a standing start. That's the best we've seen of McGuinness in some time. Brilliant. He's in 8th. Dave Johnson go over the line at the grandstand is 9th. Michael Rutter 10th. Rob Hodson 11th. That's of those who have currently crossed the line. Here comes Phil Crow, looking to get into the 130 club. 129.3.
Just behind his very best.
But
Yeah,
it is only from a standing start.
He's had a terrible week, lots of mechanical gremlins, and that's unusual because he puts a really good bike together, does Phil.
Mike Brown on the Aprilia, that's officially the fastest lap that he's done on that, 129.4. Another rider looking to join the 130 club here today.
Yeah, he's doing a lot better on the big bike this year. One of his concerns last year is he was riding, really, really well on the little stuff, but he didn't feel that comfortable on the big ones, and it looks like he's turned that around.
Nathan Harrison has just put in his fastest ever official lap of the TT. He goes 12th over the line, 128.995. And Paul Jordan likewise. Best ever lap from him on a super bike, I think. 128.809. Yeah, thumbs up from Phil Wayne. So Paul Jordan as well making improvements.
And check out Connor Cummins over in 7th place. He's a solid first lap at him.
Yeah, and actually just seen it through the Crosby section of the jumping from the public.
410.9 for Harrison from the grandstand to Glen Helen.
Nearly the quickest.
Well, that's 1.7 off the best superbike first set.
Yeah,
That
it
is
is, yeah.
really good from Harrison. Of course, just not to get Harrison. They were plagued with issues at the start of last week's qualifying on that superbike.
Yeah, definitely a step behind everybody else this week in terms of having laps to drive.
Jamie Coward second to Glen Helen, 21 seconds behind Dean Harrison. McGuinness 6 seconds further behind. Michael Dunlop 4:08.057. Grandstand to Glen Helen. At the moment, that's the fastest superbike first split. So fantastic stuff then from Michael Dunlop.
Fastest lap ever, by Ryan Kringle. Sorry, mate.
Ryan Kringle as well, yeah, well worth a shout out for Ryan Kringle. The Manxman looking to try and get himself up in inch closer to those 128s and 129s. Right, Davey Todd then now goes through 4:08.7. That's so close. 1.5 up on Michael Dunlop. 4:08.7 from the grandstand to Glen Helen for Davey.
Yeah, sneaking back though. Dunlop just coming back in a little bit there.
Peter Hickman is catching Dean Harrison, but he's losing touch a little with Todd and Dunlop. He slots into 4th place. Here he is now, the Monster Energy FHO BMW.
Michael Evans also personal best on the last time through. He's currently in 14th place.
You are looking at Davey Todd, the 28-year-old on the Milwaukee BMW. Ever since he has jumped on this bike, he has been comfortable. He is fantastic.
Short circuit, Northwest 200.
He's fully fit, and he's been podium everywhere. He's been Northwest, short circuit, Navarre on Supersport, in the Super Stock in Choice. He could not be in better shape entering TT24.
No, and he's confident as well.
And he currently leads this superbike race on lap 2 of 6. Remember, races can though be won and lost in the pits. They will be coming into pit lane at the end of this lap.
Yeah, they need 24 litres of fuel, and that takes its time. It's probably going to be about 55-second pit stop, but a couple of seconds in the pits. All the good work you've done for what? Best part of 80 miles can be undone.
Dean Harrison bringing the Honda's neck through Kurt Michael. Sorry, Mark.
Nope, something from a very special on the international stage from a standing start. We've got Frenchman Almeric Blanc is the fastest Frenchman ever to lap around the Isle of Man TT in the 116 years, I think it is, at 126.338.
Well done to Alric Blanc.
Wow, great.
He's in the running for one of the sort of underdogs of the week, actually, Blanc. So thanks for that, Mark. Good news then for the Frenchman. We've got a good French contingency here on the island this week. At the moment, it's Todd who leads from Dunlop, from Harrison, from Hickman. There is Davy Todd. He's catching
Here's
James
Hillier
on the
now.
road.
Yeah.
Next up for these guys, of course, after they head through Kirkmichael, is Ballaugh. And here we go now, over the hill at Ballaugh there for Dean Harrison. Currently first out on the road.
Yeah, about 30 miles an hour over the bridge and then back on the gas, blast out the village and then some real fast stuff on towards Ballacry and then Quarry Bends.
Harrison, Coward, McGuinness, the three have made it through to Ballaugh. Michael Dunlop has made up a big chunk of time there. He's 6.3 up on Dean Harrison.
Wow.
7:09.4 to Ballaugh. That is under Superbike lap record split, but not all-time lap record split. But either way, flying is Michael Dunlop. Next up, of course, will be Hillier and Todd. Todd is lost time. Dunlop takes the lead from Glen Helen to Ballaugh. It's half a second in it.
Holy
And that,
mackerel.
so we have your race leader. These are the two Paget's boys. Cummins is through on Ian Hutchinson, but it's Michael Dunlop who leads. Half a second up on Todd. Conversely, 5.8 up on Dean Harrison. Where does Hickman fit into this equation? He takes third. He moves ahead of Dean Harrison, but crucially, he's 5 seconds down. Well, who knows? But Peter Hickman's still 5 seconds down on both Dunlop and Todd.
You said it a minute ago that Dunlop likes to take a little bit of time to get fitted in, and
Yeah,
proving you correct.
Just saw there, Dan Sulby. Michael Dunlop is now officially properly warming up.
Yep, that's better than the lap before. A little bit more room left on the road on the Sulby Bridge.
I agree
Davy
with
Todd. He's coming through. He's done it on the Sulby straight. Past James Hillier. He was frustrated yesterday that he was beaten by Dunlop in the Supersport race. Felt like he could offer a bit more. He's kicking up the dust.
You know, seeing Dunlop go through there, I agree with what the guys in the studio were saying, that he just looks a little bit more in control, doesn't he? A little smoother. He looks dead quick. It's just not as ragged.
Yeah.
Manchman, Nathan Harrison, we've said plenty about him. He's retired.
Oh,
He's out.
oh. Poor old Nathan. What a shame for him.
Yeah, he could have used the laps, you know.
Well,
Yeah, he could, yeah.
He just put in his best ever lap from a standing start. He really did. You're right, Mark. He could have done with that extra time out there. These are long races, though. This is not just a race. It's an endurance. 6 laps around here.
He's an attrition of an endurance.
So on lap 2 of 6, the leaderboard at Ballaugh is Michael Dunlop, who leads, taking his 26th victory at the TT yesterday in Supersport. Is he about to stand alone in the record books as a Hall of Famer? 27 wins. There's a long, long way to go. He's half a second up on David Todd, who we look at now.
Yep, this is K3 running in towards Ramsey.
You talk about attrition, you know, James Hillier is doing a great job back there at 5th place. He could pick up some pieces if someone was to have some kind of mechanical issues or other ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Although based on his interview with Matt yesterday, I don't think he wants 4th again. I'm really disappointed with that. Drew Cockatrice here for Dunlop.
Oh! Yeah, just see how bumpy he is. Look at the suspension working away there, look.
Believe it or not, that's about as smooth as it could ever look.
You don't feel that.
I wouldn't want to be on the back of it.
No, I wouldn't.
Dunlop then to Ramsey is 10 seconds ahead of Dean Harrison. 10 seconds ahead. He's well under at the moment. I say well under. 2 seconds under the Superbike all-time record split. That is unbelievable. In fact, 10:18.4. That is under the outright lap record split.
Wow. Yeah, it is.
136.358 set by Peter Hickman last year.
Correct.
Dunlop is on it. He's 4.4 clear on Davy Todd.
In one section.
From Ballaugh to Ramsey.
Yep.
Dunlop was mustard. This is Todd, and Hillier's holding on here to Davy Todd as well.
I think Dunlop's just right, relaxed, and just having it, enjoying himself, and that's a fast guy.
He looks to be pushing on. But he always looks a bit busy.
We talked about it yesterday in commentary. Patrick brought it up in the studio as well. The monkey's off the back. 26 TTs is now done. They look like clear relief and emotion for Dunlop. It's done now. That's 26.
You're going to ride more relaxed. Like I said, he looks really busy, but that's the way he rides. really attacks the course.
I mean, an angry Michael Dunlop is a fast one. It seems like a relaxed one's faster.
Yep.
The best sector ever from Balaf to Ramsey.
Yeah, the best ever sector we've seen in TT history, from Balaf to Ramsey, from Michael Dunlop, who was 7/10. That's just in that split to Ramsey Hairpin, 7/10 clear of Hickman. So Hickman's not far away, but the problem is that on the road there's a bit of a gap. 4.4 in it between Dunlop and Todd. Hickman then trying to now close in on Davey Todd for second. Here's Colin Cummins. He's 7th in the split to Ramsey.
The race for 10th. Mike Brown still looking up. He's still just ahead of Phil Crow, only by 1.6 seconds.
Jim Tillier is clinging on to Davy Todd up the mountain.
Yeah, and if James wants any shot at a podium here, he needs to stick with Davey for as long as possible.
Correct.
Davo Johnson around Ramsey Hairpin as we now look at this Milwaukee BMW of Davey Todd. As they now make their approach to the mountain, and it will be the bungalow next. Let's see if Dunlop has done any more damage in terms of the times. Are we about to see? I mean, who writes the scripts? Dunlop picked up 26 TTs yesterday. Is he about to get the fast lap? Let's not forget though, James, he's got to come into pit lane.
Yep. Fuel stops at the end of this. They'll take a tyre as well, I think, most of them.
Ryan Kringle has joined the 130 club.
Wow, congratulations.
130.348.
You know what? Ryan Kringle has had nothing but trouble this week.
What, no?
Oh no, sorry.
Oh, wait, I might have
Different split.
My apologies. Let's wait for that. Still trying to get a hang of these screens, man.
So at the moment then, out front to the bungalow, we've got Dean Harrison. Dean Harrison has made it to the bungalow and is your leader because he's the first there. But now you're seeing the rest of the crew about to head up and over. Dean Harrison is immediately bettered by Michael Dunlop. Michael Dunlop then to the bungalow, 13 minutes and 29. Oh, he's just outside the outright record, but still inside the Superbike lap
He's been held
record.
up here a little bit.
So is that John McGuinness just up ahead of him?
I think he is.
Yeah, McGuinness then, his old pal, he goes past McGuinness there. Has that held him up in any way? Dunlop then is still leading. He's extended his advantage to Davey Todd from Ramsey to the bungalow. 6.6 seconds is the difference. But has he lost any time there trying to find his way through?
A little bit.
McGuinness.
Yeah, but McGuinness is quick anyway. It's not like being caught behind in a sort of real twisty section behind someone who's a lot slower than you. McGuinness is still going quick.
This is Peter Hickman. Where does he slot in? He's now taken third spot. He's moved up then ahead of Dean Harrison, and crucially, he's closing in on Davey Todd now as well. Peter Hickman is only 0.8 of a second down on Davey Todd, so he's made up time from Ramsey to the bungalow. That's Rob Hodgson. That's Phil Crow just up ahead of him. So Crow doing a fair job here.
Yep, he is. Rob Hodgson, you can forgive him for being a little bit steady past the point at which he's been off already this week.
Phil, yeah, I agree with that. I think Rob, just seeing the checkered flag here today, will be job done for him, and
yep.
he does most of his work on the smaller bikes. Phil Crow, on the other hand, you could just see it written all over his face as these guys head towards the Craig. It's all about the 130 club for Phil Crow.
Yes, it is.
That's what he is here to try and achieve. We're on lap 2 of 6. Connor Cummins has gone through to the bungalow. Currently slots in at 7th place.
Shout out to Davo Johnson. Actually, he's holding his own there in the top 10, just behind McGuinness, as far as I can see.
This is Michael Dunlop, though, that we travel with now. Davo, as Mark just mentioned, now coming to the bungalow. Looking good on the Platinum Club Kawasaki. Dean Harrison has reached Cronknamona, so it won't be too long now before we throw down to Steve and find out what's happening in pit lane. But we are tracking as well our race leader, Michael Dunlop.
Yep, not too far back on the course. That's Hilbury, and this is a Cronknamona. 3 corners in one.
You know, this would be pretty good 135 here, and not a million miles from 36, were it not for the fact that he's got to slow down to come into pit lane.
Yeah.
Michael Dunlop 14.7 up at Cronknamona, with Jamie Coward in third at the moment.
Yep.
These guys will be heading down Glen Crutchery shortly then. Let's head down to you, Steve.
Yeah, the nerves are jingling, like I said, over there on the start line. I can see the helicopter above. That means Michael's getting close. There's a buzzer going off. That must mean his almost here. There's a spare wheel here, a tyre ready. Oh, Dean's in first, sorry, that's the buzzer I can hear. Dean's just running pit lane. That's a good showing actually for Dean so far on the Honda Fireblade. I just had a quick word with the hub and they're happy how things are going so far. Here we go, here's Michael. Gary's got his arms out, just trying to calm him down a little bit coming through pit lane. Obviously the limits is on. I stood next to a very nervous Stephen Hick in here. That rear tyre looks pretty good to me. Looks like the Dunlop's visor change. Look, here we go. Nice and relaxed, these boys in the paddock. Obviously so experienced. Just trying, there you go. There's the monster bottle being thrown down on the floor. All done. Michael's got a little bit of a sweat on there, as you could expect. New Dunlop fitted spindle going in. No problems. We're just waiting on Toddy coming in behind. There's Toddy. Obviously they're close on the road. There you go. He's pulled up behind. Nowhere near as many flies at the moment on the screens of the bikes. Toddy's just getting the new visor. Michael's just signalled something to Stephen Hick and he's about to go over the wall. That's it. The fuel cap's in. That's it. No, he's going away. That's it. Toddy's there. New visor in. He looks nice and relaxed. No problems. They've changed the rear. The rear's going in. Michael's there, got the pit lane limiter on and away he goes. It is frantic down here. Obviously, I think that the people are nervous. There's hardly any room to move behind this pit wall. It really isn't. We're a pain in the backside, being in the way in all fairness. Todd is just trying his visor. Gary, was he happy?
Yeah, happy enough, yeah, all good. Just keep...
Good job. Oh, Todd is missed gear, just trying to set off in the pit lane. That's it. A quick look down and away he goes. It's so frantic here, I can't get my head around it. Back to you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you very much. We can tell you that the Superbike lap record has been broken on an in-lap by Michael Dunlop. It's not the outright lap record, but a Superbike lap record for Michael Dunlop. 135.543 on an in-lap, James.
Yeah, that's slowing down to come into the pits. They've got to get back down to 60 kilometres an hour or less. Very strict now on pit lane speed, and that's an incredible lap, that.
Absolutely unbelievable stuff from Michael Dunlop. Peter Hickman over the line as they came into pit lane had taken second spot from Davey Todd with Dean Harrison in fourth. In terms of the pit stop times, the winners were Michael Dunlop and Davey Todd. Todd's team fastest by 0.4 of a second. Hickman, though, lost 5 seconds on them in pit lane. And likewise, Dean Harrison was about 6 seconds off both Dunlop and Todd in the pits.
Yeah, it looked to me like Michael had caught Dean up a little bit as he went out over the pit stop.
And his pit stops have become so crucial with these races actually coming down to sometimes even less than a second after 6 long laps.
But you work hard on track for 5 seconds.
That's it.
It was very, very close for 5th and 6th between James Hillier and Jamie Coward on the arrival into pit lane. Just 2.7 seconds splitting them. John McGuinness to the grandstand was 7th. 8 seconds down on Coward, but crucially 4/10 up on Connor Cummins, with Dave O. Johnson in 9th. Towards Crosby then for Dean Harrison, who was being caught on the road by Michael Dunlop. Flying over the Crosby leap there. Next up to face that will be Michael Dunlop.
John McGuinness is through.
Michael Dunlop then your leader to the grandstand, 9 seconds up, with Davey Todd then dropping to 3rd. Interesting that the standing start lap for Davey Todd was stronger than that second lap.
Yeah.
So Todd then will have work to do as he now sets off again and now flies over the Crosby jump.
Guinness doing a good lap there at 1:30.15, quicker than he did in any qualifying, and that's coming into the pits as well. So he's on a good pace, and it might actually be possible for him to get back to his greatest, which is 1:32.7.
Yeah, that's his best ever. That's a few years ago now, I think 2015.
Well, yeah, that 1:31.5 officially is his best since 2016. So McGuinness is in really great shape. Fantastic to see. Mike Brown on his in-lap was on the cusp of the 1:30 club. 129.918.
Yeah, good lad.
We'll keep track on any of the other runners and riders as they make their way into pit lane as well. Paul Jordan, 128.9 for him. He's going well. He slots himself up ahead of Phil Crone, Michael Rutter and Rob Hodson. On the road, though, the man they're chasing is Michael Dunlop, 5 times a Superbike TT race winner since 2013. This race has been dominated over the years by Hondas and BMWs. Believe it or not, the last time a Superbike race was won by any rider that wasn't on a BMW or a Honda. Our very own Cameron Donald on a Suzuki back in 2008. And, funnily enough, the last rider to win this race on Pirellis. Ever since, every single Superbike race has been won on Dunlop tyres as Connor Cummins nearly gets it wrong over Crosby.
Harrison, up to Glen Helen.
You guys remember how beautiful that relentless Suzuki was? That paint job.
Oh, Taz Suzuki.
Great bike. Lovely bike with that.
Gorgeous bike, well handled. It was such a wonderful, wonderful TT machine there. Michael Dunlop then 25 seconds up on Dean Harrison from the grandstand to Glen Helen. Of course, this is taking into consideration their pit stops as well. 4 riders from grandstand now to Glen Helen. It's Dunlop, Harrison, Coward, McGuinness in that order as we now await Davey Todd 9.4 down on Michael Dunlop then on the Milwaukee BMW. What about Hickman? Because he had at the grandstand just nudged himself ahead of Davey Todd. Here is Peter Hickman now. He'll be coming through that Glen Helen split shortly. Another rider is just starting to warm up into this one is Peter Hickman after falling behind in the first lap.
Paul Jordan and ahead of Phil Crow now, and also Mike Brown has gapped Paul Jordan for that top 10, that last top 10 position. He's steady away there on that second lap.
Peter Hickman is 5.6 seconds down on Davey Todd, and so the pit stops were key and crucial there for Peter.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's got all of that work now to make up, and that's the problem with pit stops.
And it's not like them. It's a really, really good savvy team, is that?
It's difficult to make up that time, isn't it? Down in, you've got to now try and make that all up on the road.
Yeah, and that's difficult.
Here is Michael Rutter, about to head over the Crosby jump. Nice and tidy, as you would expect.
Yeah.
From the veteran here at the TT.
He's had a bit of practice, hasn't he?
Just a bit.
Yeah.
This, the 88th TT start for Michael Rutter. So 9.4 in it on lap 3 of 6 between Dunlop and Davey Todd. Halfway through this one, we'll be halfway through the race. So once they get up towards Ramsey, we'll be at the halfway stage.
And it's not too far that Michael Dunlop is behind Dean Harrison now. We can really see him, I mean, even on the sort of shorter straights now.
Yeah, and this is a fast rider to be approaching and trying to get past as well.
Yep.
Dean Harrison then looking to try and slot his name onto the podium on the Honda Racing UK machine. There's John McGuinness. We see some nice shots there of Douglas, and there is Davey Todd. Todd then trying desperately to close that gap down on Michael Dunlop. He'll see pit boards, he'll have been given the info when he made his stop down here in pit lane as well.
Mr. Blanc from France has upped his best time once again to he's eclipsed the 127 mark, and he's up to 17th place.
That's incredible. So good. So through Balaf, we have our 2 leaders. It's Michael Dunlop, 28.2 seconds up on Dean Harrison. Peter Hickman looking to try and make up time now to Davey Todd. McGuinness is now up to Balaf. He slots in 3rd, but he's bettered immediately by Coward. Only 3.7 seconds down on Jamie Coward is John McGuinness. That's a good effort from John.
And Coward.
A little bit back further in the top 20, you got Marcus Simpson, a Manx man, in 20th place, doing his best at 125.918, 125.801 mile an hour.
Davey Todd now dropped back to 11.9 down mark.
This is Quarry Benz, and this is Michael Dunlop right on the back wheel of Dean Harrison.
11.9 in it between Dunlop and Todd. He's stretching them, and now he makes his move on Dean Harrison.
Yeah, that is a Hawk Honda blasting past a factory Honda down the straight.
And at this stage, as Dean, you're thinking, okay, away you go, Michael. Let's try and just stay with him for as long as possible.
Yeah, because they set off 30 seconds apart, so he'll know full well that Michael's 30 seconds in front.
At the moment, the leaderboard then from Glen Helen to Ballaugh, it's Dunlop, Todd, Hickman and Harrison. That gap between Todd and Hickman has remained at 5.5.
David Todd breaking hard into the end of Sulby Straight, that's Sulby Bridge. Clean enough and tidy, but just not quick enough at the minute.
Well, James Hillier has stretched a bit over Jamie Coward. He's 5th at the moment, ahead of Coward. Coward then 6th, McGuinness in 7th. Hickman is next then, down the Sulby Straight and now towards Sulby Bridge. Well, I've all gone through the Sulby speed trap, so we'll get those times up for you shortly.
Got a pit board there on the right side for Hickman.
There you go, 200.6 for Dunlop at the moment. Not a lot splitting those three.
No, it's not. All these top riders have 4 or 5, at least 4, I would have said, signal points around the circuit. They'll know where they are and they'll know what everybody else is doing.
Wow.
Wow. Not often you see both wheels in the air at the Crosby jump.
We talked about those wings over the jump earlier, Jamie, where, if it goes a little bit too high on a wheelie, it can actually get underneath those
It just
wings.
becomes a paddle.
You're going to have to get out of the throttle a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So then, it's Dunlop at the moment who is setting the pace and on course right now to pick up his 27th TT win.
Yep, at the minute blasting out the outskirts of Ramsey. This is White Gates, then Stella Maris and then the hairpin.
Dunlop is your leader, 31.5 seconds up on Harrison, who's just behind him on the road. He'll have that little look over his shoulder as he always does. There he is. Out of the Ramsey hairpin.
You thought he wasn't going to do it then, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I thought that would just be typical, wouldn't it? Dunlop, Harrison and McGuinness are all through. Out there is Colin Cummins on the Malenko by Paget's Honda. Flat chat on his Honda and now coming into Selby Bridge.
Yeah, you can see why there is such an attrition rate, even on these big, you would think under-stressed 1 litre bikes, because they're just revving as hard as they are. There's nowhere else where they're revving this hard for this long.
No, it puts so much strain on the engines.
Yep.
It's an amazing test. I mean, when you think about it, just every element of the TT races is a test.
Yes, it is.
Bike, human, mental, everything. It's just, it is the biggest challenge for anyone on 2 wheels.
In actual fact, this is why it came into being, to test machines when they were just developing to something you could actually use day to day.
Yeah, I was also going to mention that the other thing about doing something like these 6-lap races is before you set off, the veterans of this event will realize that whatever you do on the racetrack today is going to be with you for the rest of your life, and it's kind of a beautiful thing that you have so much control over your future destiny, because you'll really be proud of yourself for a long time if you do well in one of these crazy, long, beautiful races.
I think what you're saying is it's one of life's challenges, and it's a big challenge.
How you rise, if you and your team, how you rise to this challenge.
And it's a challenge that not many people choose to take.
No. Well, you guys sitting here with me in the commentary box are part of the elite. There are so many, there are so few people that have had the chance to do what you've done, and it is a remarkable achievement. Oh, look at that from Hillier.
We've seen that a couple of times then.
Yeah.
That's lovely. That's catering from Michael Dunlop. Brilliant. This Crosby jump. Little bit sideways, but back on the gas. That pushes the thing back in line. Lovely from David John.
This is how it looks then from Ballaugh to Ramsey and the leaderboard here on lap 3 of 6 in this 226 mile RST Superbike TT race. Michael Dunlop to the Ramsey hairpin. That was just the sector there from Ballaugh to Ramsey. Again, is stretching the field.
Yeah.
1.1 quicker he was than Hickman. In terms of the outright leaderboard, Michael Dunlop is 14.6 seconds clear of Davy Todd as we look at Colin Cummins on screen. Peter Hickman has found a bit of time again on Davy Todd, 4 seconds down on the Milwaukee BMW rider. Dean Harrison is 12.8 down on Peter Hickman in the fight for the podium. Then Hillier in 5th is 30 seconds back on Dean. It's a pretty close battle actually that for 5th at the moment. Coward is 4 seconds behind Hillier. McGuinness is 4 seconds behind Coward.
Yeah, that's it. We're not even halfway through yet. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and we've got another pit stop to come as yet.
Yep.
Michael Dunlop then, your leader at the bungalow, 31.074 clear of Dean Harrison, who's behind him now on the road.
It used to be back in the day that you'd want to be in the top 6 because that's what they used to show on the screen and no more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's kind of changed so we get a broader view down through the back.
The leaderboard, that was all done with stopwatches and bits of paint and Boy Scouts running about the place. A bit different now.
4 riders have made it to the bungalow from Ramsey. Dunlop leads from Harrison, Jamie Coward, and then McGuinness. That changes as Davey Todd. Then again, he's lost a little bit more time to Michael Dunlop. He's now 15.9 down. But as we get up to the mountain, is Peter Hickman, who we're looking at right now, going to try and hunt that down a bit, try and chop that gap down to Todd. Here's Hillier.
The thing's on rails, that bike.
Yeah, he's looking pretty solid and smooth, isn't he?
Not over the jump season.
No.
Well, that's true. Hickman at 4.8 back on Davey Todd. So it looks like Todd has actually just managed to pick him off for 7 or 8 tenths there from Ramsey to bungalow. This is all going the way of Michael Dunlop at the moment. He has a 15.9 second lead as we look at the Northern Irishman. He's got some Dow Racing sponsorship on the side of his Hawk Racing Honda.
Yep, this down towards the most iconic spot on the course. This is Craig Navarre.
Dean Harrison's doing really well.
Still coming on to
he's holding on
Michael
tight.
Dunlop. Yeah.
Dean Harrison is 10 seconds back on Peter Hickman. So Harrison's still in with a shout here of a podium.
If he can cling on.
If he can cling on.
Yeah. And I'll just drag him away that.
The battle for 5th, Jamie Coward is closing on the KTS Racing machine on James Hillier. That gap is now just 1.9 between Hillier in 5th and Coward in 6th. Elsewhere, we will keep track on those that are still trying to get into the 130 club. Earlier on, an early retirement for Josh Brooks, unfortunately, and for Dom Herbertson. Both riders okay, but mechanical failures for them, and James Hind as well.
And Nathan Harrison.
And Nathan Harrison.
Connor Cummins at the bungalow.
15.9 back on McGuinness for Cummins. We're coming towards the end of this one then. We're past Crocknamona split already. And there is Dunlop, and there is Dean Harrison, right in his wheel tracks. He's managed to hold on to him so far. Remember, they won't pull into the pits this time. This will be a fly past the grandstand.
To add to your retirement, unfortunately, Sean Anderson also retired after lap 1.
Oh, what a shame for Sean, another rider who managed to get himself up
Yeah, he was flying in the first few sectors.
Number 6, Michael Dunlop then is about to reel off another lap and come past the line here. There he is with Dean Harrison in his wheel tracks. That was 128.1. Remember though, they were in pit lane getting topped up. 30.6 seconds the difference between Dunlop and Harrison, who are pretty much next to each other on the road.
Yeah. Bottom of Bray Hill. Over that goes. Selborne Drive, another jump just after Agos, and then down towards Quarter Bridge.
The first braking zone at the start of the lap. There it is, a roundabout. John McGuinness comes over the line. 7.3 seconds down on Jamie Coward. Davey Todd comes over the line. Again, he's just lost another bit of time. It's every sector just taking chunks, isn't he, Michael Dunlop, out of Davey Todd. As we now watch McGuinness. Coward catching him on the road. Davey Todd actually catching the pair of them.
Yeah,
so
that might hold him up.
Could be problematic. Peter Hickman comes over the line and is found time on Davey Todd again. There's 4 seconds between them, but Dean Harrison, as a result of being behind Michael Dunlop, has closed the gap to Peter Hickman.
Yes.
We could be watching an intense battle for second as yet. There's Hickman with Hillier behind. At the grandstand then, 7 riders have made it through already. It's Dunlop, 17.3, clear on Todd. Hickman 3rd, Harrison 4th, Coward 5th. He's 3 tenths up on James Hillier. So Hillier is benefiting from being behind Michael Dunlop as well. Just goes to show you how things can change when you have those references.
Yeah, now this is Union Mills. We've just seen him come past the Snugborough trading estate, and this is David Todd, blast out the village and up towards Balaguer, really, really iconic spot and scary place to ride Balaguer.
Amalric Blanc, a rider that we've been talking up, who've been doing so well. The Frenchman is off at Waterbridge. He's reported as up and okay. That's a shame for the Frenchman, having been flying thus far.
Yeah, if you're going to go down, Waterbridge is probably the one.
Slow right-hander as breaking point
With runoff.
there.
Yeah.
So at what point does it become too early to start talking about Michael Dunlop doing 27?
I don't think
With
it's
this
ever
kind
too
of
early.
lead, I
We were
mean-
talking about it this morning, to be fair. I mean, it would be yesterday in itself, Mark, an incredible achievement.
He's up 17 seconds at the moment.
17 seconds.
That's not a bad margin to manage.
I think I'll just...
They've still got a lot of miles to do and a fuel stop.
Yeah, that is true. Maybe we'll leave it till after then.
That's the earliest allowed. Okay.
Michael Dunlop at the moment is your leader, 17.3 up. Yes, already made history, but on the brink of taking that another step further. Connor Cummins has entered pit lane and clearly issues with his Paget Honda.
He was doing so well.
And that's it.
Wheeled away. That's his race done.
And you can always tell the feelings of a rider when they're still stood there with visor down.
Oh, and you're so buzzing, your adrenaline's going. The last thing you want to do is get off that vibrating machine because now it's just wah, wah.
It's not been the week that Paget's Honda wanted, of course. Ian Hutchinson's just getting back to speed, but Connor Cummins, it's not looking like there's a podium on the cards at the moment for the batsman here.
No. This is a team that's used to winning, and actually for a long time they held the record for the team that had the most reliable, most finishes in a row. They're a really good team, the Paget's team, based in Batley in Yorkshire.
For the time being, that's moved the standings around to the grandstand. Davo Johnson on the Platinum Club Kawasaki has moved up to 8th, behind John McGuinness. That battle for 5th still raging on between Coward, Hillier and McGuinness, but I remind you, with Hillier behind Hickman on the road, not too far behind Dunlop on the road. I mean, everyone's benefiting. That's Harrison, he's getting the tow from Dunlop. Hickman is giving Hillier the tow a bit further back.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I got there in the end. 408.5 Dunlop then from grandstand to Glen Helen. That is under Superbike lap record split.
What was it? Of course.
What was it?
408.588.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'd say that he's just broken the Superbike lap record, so that's all changed.
Yeah, from whatever he did the first day. But I think that will be the first thing, because the other one will be from Stanley South.
Let's get down and find out what happened to Connor Cummins. Unfortunately, the batsman out. Plater's caught up with a word with him. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, Connor, obviously, I know you're massively disappointed. Thanks for talking to us, mate. What's the problem out there today?
I just struggling with something on the bike there. And it wasn't not productive being out there. But I'm still to be out having fun, but that way, and I know the team would as well. But unfortunately, it wasn't. Just can't keep going around like that. So
I can feel you disappointed, mate. In a situation like that, how important is it just to pull off and say, let's save it for another day?
it takes a better person to know when to quit. So that's where I'm at now at the minute. So pull out of the race and see where we go from here. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Back to you, mate.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, really good of Connor Cummins to talk there. Connor Cummins does not enter the TT unless he feels like he can win, and you can just see the genuine disappointment.
I don't think it's even that. I think it's the fact that he felt he had a problem that was causing himself or putting himself or others in more danger than they should be putting themselves in around here. That's why he's pulled in. He was clearly upset, but also he clearly knew that's what he had to do.
Ian Hutchinson has retired at Windy Corner, so the news gets worse for Paget's Honda, I'm afraid. Phil Crow has also retired into pit lane, and again, this is what you highlighted earlier on, James.
I think he's had real problems. It's a bike problem, not his mechanical prowess, which is brilliant. The bike's been squeezing the head from the cylinder. That's been allowing the water system, the cooling system to pressurise, and that's been blowing the water out, and he can't stop it, and it has been a problem. There's nowhere in the world where bikes are working as hard for as long.
You know, all these epic battles that are happening down in the field a little bit, they're are just as important to these guys, and we're losing a lot of the main players, racing there for the top 10.
We are, out on the road. Davy Todd has wrestled his way past both Jamie Coward and John McGuinness, and Davy Todd actually was not too bad from the grandstand to Glen Helen. He was only 3/10 off Dunlop's best.
Yeah, Coward going just about the same pace as McGuinness, set up 10 seconds behind him, and now he's less than 10 seconds behind him. There you go, at 3 maybe.
So then, to Ballath, there is Michael Dunlop over the bridge. Dean Harrison still not far behind him on the road. Here's Peter Hickman flying through Kurt Michael. From grandstand to Glen Helen, Hickman was 7.2 seconds down on Davy Todd, with Jamie Coward now in